Listen, Nova, ooh, baby, not Nan Prayer Circle, not Nan Sage, not Nan Crystal is going to be able to get you out of this mess. Catch up on this episode of Tweet This as we recap last night's episode of Queen Sugar. Catch the rest after the beat. All right, y'all. So on last night's episode of Queen Sugar, it opens with Aunt Vi, who stayed up all night reading Nova's manuscript. Right, like what a way to open up the show. And Aunt Vi is busted, disgusted, tired, sad, and confused, and ready to fight the air as Nova has put all her past and dirty laundry out for the world to see. And if you know anything about Black families, which I'm pretty sure you do, you know you don't put our air or you air our business out in the street because you mess around and you might get your behind cut. Well, anyway, so Aunt Vi, decides to push through because St. Joe's needs Vi's prize pies. And as she's preparing for the day, as they're opening up, in walks that scoundrel Jimmy Dale. Now, if you've been watching Queen Sugar for a few seasons, you know that Jimmy Dale was her abusive ex-husband who was conniving. They had a very tumultuous relationship. And you know that her brother Ernest ran him off because he had beat Vi so bad and she ended up in the hospital. Um, so Jimmy Dale comes back. We have yet to find out exactly what he wants, but I know he wants something, right? Anyway, so Aunt Vi sees him and she blanks out. She passes out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Aunt Vi is sick. She has lupus. She's been doing all this extra, the stress from Nova's book. Like at this point, I want to punch Nova in her trachea because this is, she's causing Aunt Vi all this grief. Anyway, so Aunt Vi's like, Hollywood baby, let's go home. As Jimmy Dale is gone because Aunt Vi thinks she's seen a ghost, right? And that's what the hell he should have been, a ghost, but whatever, neither here nor there. So they go home and Hollywood, is doting on her the way that Hollywood does. Don't we all need a Hollywood? Anyway, and he's like, babe, what's going on? What is it? She's telling him, it was Jimmy Dale. And Hollywood knows exactly who Jimmy Dale is, and he is ready to put the paws on them, y'all. Oh my gosh. Yes. Hollywood calls the store and he was like, listen, let me know if he comes back. He comes back. I'm on the next thing smoking. It's about to be a wrap because you're not going to come here, and cause this confusion, and this strife with my wife. We're not even finna have it. Let's just let that go. Then we get to Charli and Micah. And Micah is reading Nova's book. Now, last week, Micah came home with his Killmonger 5 o'clock shadow, woke, power to the people, um, new look, attitude, persona, and everything. And at this point, Charli's fears have actually come true. Only temporary, though. Micah's looking at her like, yo, you're wilding. I thought I knew you. I thought you were a different person. And it turns out that you are not the mom I thought you were, right? So then Micah goes into this whole thing. We'll talk about it later. Don't even worry about it. I can't believe you paid off Belia, whatever her name is, her. I know what dad did, but I also know that what you did was just as worse as what dad did because you paid her off. Um, and Charli was like, you know what, boy, you better get your shit together. Like, it is what it is. I did what I needed to do to protect you. I was being a mother first. I didn't want you to find out like this, and your auntie had no business putting my business out in the street. So, that basically ends it for them that morning. Then we move on to Nova picking out clothes, and she has this review coming up. Um, and she's picking out clothes, whatever. She's talking to the editor or the publishing house or whomever. And they're like, we've got this raving review from the New York Times, and Nova is head over heels with this review. And I'm like, girl, girl, you better forget what the public is saying. You better be worried about what your family has to say because you have really put them out there and you have unearthed a bunch of foolishness and things in their past that they have tried to forget and as well as tried to grow and to move on from. And the people who matter to you the most are the people that are going to be more affected by this. Like you're in it for the publicity. Yeah, it may have been therapeutic for you, but at this point, you're actually making everybody behind you regress. Um, so that was pretty, pretty shitty. And then we go to old fine ass Ralph Angel. Baby, let me tell y'all something. That man is so fine now. Anyway, before I get into his section, I'm really excited about the fact that he is speaking in an audible tone this season. Because last season he was doing all that huffing and puffing, all that scruffy, Billy D. Williams speaking in cursive type stuff. Like, talk above a whisper for me to hear you, sir. I shouldn't have to increase the volume on my TV all the way up to ignorant levels because I can't hear what you're saying. Get your life together. Anyway, so he's talking about um, Nova's inclusion of Blue in the book and how, Ralph Angel has this criminal past. He's reformed, he's different now. And the fact that Blue is not his biological son. Yo, that was some shit, okay? Nova had no business telling the people that. That hurts Blue, that hurts Ralph Angel, and it hurts Darla, which we really don't care about Darla, but whatever, it is what it is. I think at this point they need to go ahead and tell Blue so that he's prepared, um, and that this guilt that Ralph Angel and Darla have can actually heal from that. So then we get to Shady Boots, Charlotte, and Jacob Landry. Now, Charlie is a little bit bothered because she hasn't been invited to the recent board meeting of Landry, and neither has Jacob Landry. So she's a little pissed off about that. And it turns out that the bigger Landrys are actually doing some kind of underhanded deal where they purchased $1.5 million worth of land. The people in St. Joe, as well as Landry, a little bit pissed with Charlie because Charlie beat them at their own game. And she actually created a seat or pulled up her own chair to the table that they've created. And I love it. Hopefully we'll see what's going on with them. And they haven't purchased the $1.5 million worth of land to open up a new private prison because Charlie had to start that fight all over again. And then we get to Hollywood and Jimmy Dale. Sweet baby Jesus. Hollywood goes to Vi's Prize Pass and, basically puts Jimmy Dale on notice like, hey, sir, like, you don't know me like that. I need you to get your life together. You're here to start some shit with my wife. I'm not having it. You might as well go on and, put your hat on, go on about your business on down the interstate. And, Jimmy Dale is, letting Hollywood know, you ain't nobody. And at this point, it's, penis versus penis. I think my favorite part of this is when Hollywood told Jimmy Dale he put his hands on him. Y'all, that thing that made me holler. Um, and as you can see later on, you'll find out that Hollywood was true to his word. We're not gonna skip. We're gonna keep on going. Okay. So then, I love Hollywood and Vi's marriage. I love how Hollywood dotes on Vi and how he is the epitome of black love, or they are rather the epitome of black love. Um, anyway, so at this point, we really don't know what Jimmy Dale wants. If it's the house, if it's a piece of the land, if she owes him money, or he feels like he's entitled to something. But I have a feeling that Jimmy Dale is going to get what's handed to him, and he might end up stinking in the field behind Ralph Angel's house. I don't know. We shall see. So then Ralph Angel and his new love interest. Y'all, let me tell you something. I'm here for this. Okay, this sister is beautiful. She's got her natural hair. Um, the sun-kissed skin, and Ralph Angel Honey is smitten with her, and I am loving it. Yes, honey, because he needs a win. Like, Ralph Angel's been taking losses since episode 1, scene 1, second number 2. And they're at Vi's Prize, and he's telling her, I got to be transparent with you, got to be honest. I have a past, and she was like, "Yeah, I looked your ass up." And I was like, "Yes, ma'am. You better look them up, being verified. You better use those connections at your government job to figure out who it is you're talking to, because people crazy nowadays." And she was like, "Listen, I know about you, but you're not your file. You're not your past. I want to get to know you out, outside of the paper." And I was like, "Hey, snap, sister, yes, get to know him, honey. Let's make this thing work." And then moving right along to Charlie and Dr. Bay. So they're on this picnic, and he's, letting her know that he was able to help um, Ignacio on one of the workers on Ralph Angel's farm. And he was like, "Your brother's treating him right. He's got a great reputation with his workers. I appreciate that. I just wish it was a little bit more I can do." And she was like, "Light bulb, there is. What would you do if, money was no object? How would you handle it? Let's talk about it." And he's telling her, let's set up this type of camp, little pop up health type facility, where we could treat them. We just need volunteers. We need a facility. We need some funds. And she was like, I've got all of that. Now, y'all know this is not even coming from a place of concern. This is coming from a place of guilt. A couple of seasons ago, when they were trying to get the cane, excuse me, plant the cane in the field, there was a storm approaching, and Charli refused to let the workers off the field or out of the field, excuse me, and two migrant workers actually passed away. So what Charli was doing is she was trying to get her redemption story on, and I'm here for it. Do what you feel like you need to do to get your life together, but you still shouldn't have had them people in that damn farm when you knew the storm was coming with your silly ass. So Michael, not Michael, Lord, the boy named Micah. Micah receives a death threat in the mail, and he's talking to Kiki, about I don't know what I'm gonna do, um, but I'm gonna make it work. And then he goes to Charli on some. This is what happens, and Charli was like, "Little boy, you don't know shit. I've been protecting you from these death threats for months." And then she pulls out this folder, and each death threat she lays out in front of him on the desk, like, yeah, I got this one at this time, this one came at this time, this one came this time, and this is what they said. Why do you think I sent you to Paris? Why do you think, you had a security detail which he didn't know about? And now he's feeling it, and he's hurt, and now he's looking at his mom through different eyes for the second time today, to see, just how much she's willing to, or how far she's willing to go to protect him. I need for him to know his mama will burn St. Joe the hell down, if anybody will mess with him. And I think it's coming very soon, later in the season. Um, I like Charli when it comes to how she protects Micah. I like Charli when it comes to some of her business practices, but Charli needs some therapy. Like, Charli got a whole lot of shit going on from way back in her past and her childhood that she needs to work out ASAP. Um, Ralph Angel tells Darla, before I even get into that, yeah, I don't like Darla. I don't think I liked Darla since the second time we saw Darla on the screen. Darla just rubbed me the wrong way. Um, I don't know if it's because I read the book, and the book is nowhere near like the TV show, but Darla wasn't shit in the book, and she ain't shit in the show. Period. But Ralph Angel tells Darla that Nova uh, basically sheds all the light to let everybody know that Blue is not his, and then it hits her. Oh shit, he's really not. And then for a minute it's all about her, and then she says, well, I'm sorry, that this had to happen. I'm sorry for you. And I'm thinking, if you were sorry, you would have told him a long time ago that you had a thought, that the baby might not have been his. But no, you just decided, you wanted to go out here and do your thing out in these streets, be on these drugs and think about your damn self. You didn't care. And it's cool. He's not gonna leave the child behind, because that's the only father that Blue knows. And I commend Ralph Angel for that. There's a lot of black men out here taking care of kids that don't belong to them, be it they know it or not. But that's a conversation for another day. So they've agreed to tell Blue, which is, like I said earlier, something that I think they need to do. Um, then we finally get to that damn JD showed up at Vi's house, y'all. I just need y'all to know my heart stopped when that man showed up at that door, and Vi opened it, and he was standing there just skinning and grinning. And Vi, bless her heart, let him in. I didn't know if she was gonna let him in to kill him, or she was gonna let him in because she was afraid. I didn't know, but she let him in anyway. And she finally came to her grips. And then Nova, with her trifling self, shows up at the door as well. And Jimmy Dale hits Nova with, "Good to see you again, Nova." And Aunt Vi turned her attention from Jimmy Dale to Nova, and she was like, "Again? Oh no, So this is where all hell starts to break loose, and we're towards the end of the episode, which really made me sad because I needed to see Nova get her ass beat today, but it didn't happen. So whatever. But um, Jimmy Dale is being inappropriate. He's touching on her, he's talking on her, talking to her, he's talking down to her. And she starts to hit him, and Nova pushes him out the house, and they go to get him out the house. And guess who pulled up, honey? That goddamn Hollywood. Hollywood put all the paws on Jimmy Dale and tore him up. Oh, y'all. They was rolling around in the wet grass. Hollywood then decorated his face with punches. Oh, it was amazing. Nova and Hollywood had the whole. I'm not Nova and Hollywood. Nova and Aunt Vi had the whole Hollywood back, y'all. I was sitting on the edge of the couch like I was watching an actual boxing match. But one of the competitors wasn't boxing at all. It was just crazy. Um, and then they go in the house as Aunt Vi is tending to Hollywood's wounds, and Nova is setting out her intentions with the book, and why she went to talk to Jimmy Dale and why Jimmy Dale is in St. Joe, and she's apologetic, and Aunt Vi, but my intentions were this. I want everybody to heal. I just want to tell your story, about your strength and XYZ 1, 2, 3. Aunt Vi ain't having it, not one man bit. Let me tell y'all something. Aunt Vi snapped her neck and looked at Nova so damn fast. At this point, can't not name Sage, Ancestor, Prayer Warrior, Florida Water Drop, nothing get Nova up out of this mess here. Aunt Vi delivered a speech that was award worthy and told Nova to get her ass on. I don't want to see you. Don't put no flowers on my grave. Me and you have nothing to talk about. Don't darken my door. Get the hell on. And the episode ends with Nova, bless her heart, shoulders slumped, as they rightfully should be, tears rolling down her face, and she just walks, towards her car or whatever. So these are my thoughts. Micah is gonna have to grow the hell up and really channel his inner Killmonger. He's gonna have to F somebody up in St. Joe before all these death threats and stuff stop. Um, Nova is gonna have to get her shit together, and in addition to riding this wave of her book, she gonna have to make amends with her family, and soon before she don't have no family. Um, Jimmy Dale, like I said again, Jimmy Dale is gonna be sitting in somebody's, not sitting, I'm sorry, lying in somebody's field, stinking, because Hollywood is gonna get to him, and it's gonna be on and popping. And when Ralph Angel find out that Jimmy Dale done came back, I know how Ralph Angel feel about Aunt Vi, honey. Ralph Angel Hollywood might kill Jimmy Dale together. Charli and this man, I hope this man doesn't find out that Charli's the reason that the migrant workers um, passed away, because I really like them together. And I like that she's finally happy with, the majority of what's going on in her life. Ralph Angel and New Boo, I'm here for all of that. All of that. Yes. I don't have much to say about that. I'm just, come on, I need more of it, and quickly. And I think that's all I got. So yeah, we'll talk about the rest of it at the next episode of Queen Sugar. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. We're at Do Better Sis Pod. Or you can follow us on Instagram, Do Better Sis Podcast, or on Facebook to get more.